Yeah, this rock formation, I'll give you a little info on that. The sun comes up straight from the east over there. And when that sun comes up in the morning, this represents the family unit. Myself, Deb, Leora. And I even got Sammy, that little black rock in the middle. Anyhow, what I'm getting at, when that sun comes up, that big rock casts one shadow. It's a family rock. In the morning when we get up, we're a united force. As the day goes on, so as life, each one of us will start casting our own shadow upon this earth. But in the morning when we start our day, we're all under one shadow, all in allegiance. And like I say, as life goes on, we start making our own shadow in different directions. But that's what that's all about. That big rock will cast a shadow for all of them. It's a family unit. And then as life progresses, day progresses, each one of those stones will start casting their own shadow upon this earth. We got our soil sample back from Minnesota Valley testing up in Nevada, and this is really important. As you can see, our #1 field that we're going to go with, if you can see that on that line, the organic matter is way up there, way high. We got good organic, we got high phosphorus, we got adequate potassium, potash. We're going to raise that. Our zinc is high, our sulfur is good, low, but there's spots on the other field where it's adequate. What happened to our power plant up there this year, I didn't run a soil test on that. I ran it 2 years ago, and we were really depleted on nitrogen. Nitrogen leaves the minute you put it in your soil, through evaporation, through plant intake, and through leaching out. We had 20 inches of rain last fall that really enhanced taking it out of the soil. I should have done a soil test, and that you've seen the results. Those annuals, grasses take a lot of nitrogen. Your winter greens, your turnips, all that stuff is just feed me right now. So you guys that aren't putting enough nitrogen on through a soil sample, we're going to have to add our nitrogen. We're going to bring it up on that. It says we need 186 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And so we've got to raise that because it was depleted with the intake on those lettuce type crops and the corn crop, which is a grass. So you have to stay on top of it. I got a little laxed on that, and you've seen the results. Power plant was, for no other word, miserable. Was it the seed? No, it was my fault for not checking that. I try to check everything. As you can see, it becomes a lot of paperwork, but you have to do that to get those results. So we're going to go in there. It requires, our pH right now up there is 6.4. We're almost at the neutral level of 7. That's what we're shooting for. So to bring that online to 6.5 to 6.9 would be 3,525 pounds, which basically is a 1.5 tons. I'm not going to go with the ag lime. It's a little slower acting. We're going to go with the pelletized lime. Each one of those bags cover 4,000 square foot. We got 2 acres up there, so we're going to go in there and bring it online with the pelletized lime. We have enough, 4,000 pounds. We got, I think we got 15 bags over there, so that would be adequate to bring it up to what our ag lime. Plus that pelletized lime is a lot faster acting. Now, keeping records, we planted last year on the 2nd of August. Today is the 5th, and we're got to go up and plow it. Now, when you put that lime in there, it indicates that you plow it in 6 inches deep. you can't hardly disc your lime in, but if that's all you got, that's all you're going to be able to do. But if you can get an old plow of some sort, and remember, you don't have to have modernized equipment. If it'll turn the soil, I don't care if it's rust coated and it's getting the soil turned over, the soil's a lot older than your tillage equipment, I'll guarantee you that. And so, but you do have to get that incorporated. Today is the 5th. Last year we had an inch of rain on the 6th, and then from then on it was Katie barred the door. We had over 10 inches of rain down here in Clark County in the month of August. So that's all you can hope for, because fall annuals are no more than a crapshoot. You can do everything right, but if you don't get the rain and the timely rains in the fall, you'll have lesser desirable results. And I can't emphasize this enough. These soil tests have to be taken to get the maximum tonnage for your effort. If you don't want to do them, that's fine. You know, a lot of people don't stop at stop signs. That's, you know, sooner or later they'll have a wreck. And if you don't do your soil testing and keep on track of what you're walking on, then don't complain if you don't have the results. So with any further ado, I got to do a lot of I got to plow 2 acres. I got to get this done, and then I got to get up to town and get to work. Food plotting in the fall is a hectic pace. So let's get it on. Pelletized lime. As you notice down here, it increases the pH in acidic soils. Covers up to 4,000 square feet. Consistent results, 100% mined mineral. Rapid release, that's what you need if you don't go with your ag lime, it's slower. Immediate action, that's what you need in the fall. Especially, you know, it corrects soil acidity, promotes a thick and green turf, all natural, safe for the environment, apply anytime. Some people call it pale lime, or it's pelletized lime. It's a food plot, a food plotter's angel, because if you don't have access to farm ag lime or a spreader, you can spread this with my spreader. You cannot spread ag lime with that, it'll break it, as I found out. But that's what it's all about right there. Pelletized lime. It's like I think it's $4 a bag. So, but it really works fast. And remember, we live in the Midwest. We live in probably one of the most neutral soils there are, but they're still acidic, because when you go into these timber areas and we clear them out, they haven't had any crops in them for years, and the soil is dormant. And for that gentleman that said he never puts a soil test, like I said, there's people that drink too much, there's people that don't stop at stop signs, there's people that do everything asinine, and they'll end up with piss poor results. And but that's what this is, pure natural. Another very important thing you have to do, these food plots, was supposed to have been a 60% chance of rain here this morning. It didn't happen. You've got to stay on top of it. Stay on top of it. You've got to beat the system. Your equipment's got to be maintained. You cannot afford breakdowns when you have these opportunities. So it's a maintenance program on your equipment, getting all your soil samples, getting all your product bought. You've got to go, go, go. And if you lack the desire to do that, then you may not want to be a food plotter. You may want to be a deer doper, going pouring something on the ground in a hole. But when you're doing that, you're only targeting one animal, basically the buck deer. That's not what I do. I am enhancing the overall wildlife, the ecosystem, by bringing it online and creating a better habitat for the entire scope of things. I do not target in any given video am I ever going to target the white-tailed buck deer. I've killed numerous of them, record book bucks, not bragging, just fact, without food plotting. So it's not a necessity, but we'll go into that another day. But today, make sure your equipment's top ready to go. I don't care how old it is, just make sure it's maintained. So when you're ready to go, you can go, because you only got small windows of opportunities. Perennials, you can get by with a little more procrastination. Annuals, you cannot. It has to happen. You have to beat the weather systems. You have to get all the rain you can get once you get the seed into the ground. So it has to happen, and you have to stay on top of your game. There's no room for laziness in land management and food plot preparation. Here's what you're looking for when you use a herbicide. You notice the complete burn down. You notice the green around the outside. This is where we burn it down. That's to get rid of the obnoxious weeds, the broadleaf weeds, the grasses. As much as we can get out of there, we want to kill off. Like I say, I know some people have a problem with it. As far as I know, I've lived in Iowa all my life. They've been using Roundup for quite a few years, and I haven't seen any deer. I've ate a lot of deer that come out of the Iowa cornfields and bean fields with herbicide. And oh, they might lay off of that forage for a while, right after it's sprayed, but eventually gravitate back to it. Though in my opinion, you know, and that's just my opinion, I know other people have different opinions, so until they got something scientific that, you know, that it's harmful, I'll probably continue to use it. This is what you're turning over. That's a good 6 inches. It breaks up so it's dry enough. You're going to have a hard time growing any fall annual in dirt that's that hard. You're going to have to get large equipment. You got to turn that over. That small seed can't get through there. You try to do it on top with smaller tillage equipment, you'll get minimal results. I just wanted to show you how this got compacted with all the rain that beats down on it. It will fall apart somewhat. We're going to get it plowed up, let it air out, and then get it distant. But you're not going to plant in a seed bed when the dirt is that compacted, because that's where your seed's going to grow. It will not grow. It'll put too much stress on the root system, especially if you're planting a turnip. If you're planting a turnip, it's almost mandatory that you take and run a plow in there. And I got my plow set, it's a good 6 inches deep, and it's pulling hard in this dirt. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it'll crumble up, so the moisture's all right. We'll get some air on it, possibly a little rain on it. We got the lime on it, but that's how solid that ground is. And that is the main culprit of failure in annual food plots, is seed bed preparation. Some of this stuff they got out on the market is more gimmickry. I don't care how old your implement is. That plow is probably 40 years old. I used to pull one of them when I was 14, 15 years old, 3-bottom plow on a 4000 Ford. So I know it's over 45 years old. But don't have your bank account sitting under the oak tree either. Go to the auctions, get them fairly cheap, but you need to turn it over with a plow, because a disc, a light disc, something on the back of an ATV is not going to get through that hard pan. Ain't going to happen. Now as I come up through here, you're going to see a little tire slippage. I have more of a construction type tread on there instead of an ag tread, but this has got wheel weights on the back. It's pulling 3 bottoms. That tractor right there is 55 horsepower and running it in 3rd gear, and that takes a lot of power to turn that, and you'll see how much power it takes. Yeah, as you can see how deep we're going there. We're right at the coulter, half the coulter depth, so we're as deep as that plow will go to get this turned over. For you people that are going to buy a plow, especially these Ford high clearance plows, they were built with a protective device in them, so if you hit a tree stump, it'll kick the mow board back. And if you didn't know that, and you bought that plow at an auction and you did that, you'd think, oh my God, I broke my plow. But what happens there's a triggering mechanism in here. So when you hit something with your plowshare or your moldboard, it'll kick it back. And all you have to do, if you didn't understand the characteristics of that, you'd think you were in deep doo-doo. But all you have to do is lower it down, back up, and it'll put itself back in position, and I'll show you. Now you can see the plow is back in its position where it's supposed to be. But if you hit a root or rock, that mechanism will let that kick out without breaking your tractor or your plow. As you can see, we got this field here clean, plowed under, and you notice that residue, that's your green manure. As you put that in there, that's going to build your organic matter and also help put nitrogen and phosphorus back in into your ground. By the way, this is what I would be calling, this is the beginning of the destination plot, not so much a hunting plot. You can turn it into a hunting plot later, but this is more of a destination area. Now as we go back down through the timber here, we're going to get into the bowels of the woods. And this is where, if you were going to set up a hunting plot, somebody call it a killing field, whatever you want to call it, this is where you'd want to do it, to where the deer are completely secluded far back into the woods. And this is the area that you would put that in. We're back here at an area that I would call a hunting plot. Some of you might want to call it killing plot, whatever you want to call it. I probably won't even hunt it, but I've got it here and I want it established. Now it's going to plow a whole lot different than we did out there. This has been plowed 2 years in a row. We're going to turn it under again, and it's going to really plow. Fall plowing is the hardest plowing. Spring plowing is a pleasure because you had to freeze thaw and the dirt's so mellow. You come in the fall, the dirt can be challenging to get a seed bed, but remember, the seed bed, without a proper seed bed, you're not going to get maximum results. This is secluded. You want to have them really irregular shape. That gives a lot of longitudinal movement for the deer. I went over that last year. That lets you set your stand up. Don't make them so big as what the destination plot is. Now, destination plot could be a muzzleloader situation, but these plots back here, you want to keep them tight, bottleneck them up. That way you can set your tree stand and try to make them to where you can have several different winds, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But you see the narrow that's down there, a little bottleneck here, all that tree line, there's stands you can set in there with west winds, south winds, whatever. But you have to take that all into consideration. You just can't go out and say, I'm going to make a patch here and not even know now to get in it. Now, like I say, these would probably be, most food plots, unfortunately, are evening stands. Because if you got a good food plot and they're feeding on it in the morning, it's not going to happen. So let's get on and getting this turned over. I got to go 60 miles and get to my real job. And it's quite a challenge. Yeah, I hate to bore you with all these tips and ideas, but I don't know if they teach kids about contour plowing or anything in school anymore. In my day they did. Contour plowing is plowing sideways on the hill, not up and down. You can see this slope. I don't know who's watching this, but you do not plow this way up and down. If you do that way, you're going to increase the chance of big erosion. You want to plow crossways on the side of a hill. Down in southern America years ago, they didn't follow that and they lost a lot of topsoil. That's what I was taught back in the 50s in grade school. I don't know what they teach them today. Another tip is it's right at 9 o'clock and we've made one round, so keep track time-wise what it takes you to do the tillage work on your food plots. That way you know which plot, how much time it's going to take you in proper conditions. That way you'll know your opportunity window, because you've already did it. You say this plot's going to take X amount of hours or X amount of minutes, so you can schedule that out. Keep track of your time. Make sure you plow sideways on your hill, don't plow up and down. This is called contour plowing. Like I said, I doubt if they even teach that in school anymore. Now you notice this field is black, like black gold, but it still didn't have a neutral acidic level of 7.7 in there. It was 6.4. So it's coming online. We put the lime on it. That should bring it online. This particular area back here, I think we needed to put like 58 pounds an acre of phosphorus, and I do know it was 186 pounds of nitrogen that was supposed to go back here. The potash, I can't remember exactly what that was, but it's in the under 100 per acre. But nitrogen, this was planted, if you remember last year, we had a tremendous crop of pure traction on that, and that's a Nebraska lettuce type mixture with snow peas in it, or winter peas and stuff like that. That takes a lot of nitrogen out, plus we had all that rain. So we really got to add the nitrogen to this with like 186 pounds per acre to bring it back on, because keep in mind, those lettuce type crops, turnips, all these annuals suck the nitrogen right out of the ground. Plowing her deep and plowing her black. Well, she's plowed, and it's 2 minutes after 10. It took right an hour. That's about a little over an acre. So, and that's why it's critical to get the stumps and all that stuff out of there, so that when you plow, you can make good time. Because like I said, food plot's all about timing and trying to get it done as fast as you can. And like I say, as soon as I finish up here, I got 60 miles to drive, bam, back to work. That's what pays for this operation. But you can see in the back, everything turned over really nice. Has a little bit more moisture in some spots, and I'm beginning to wonder if this wouldn't be a good, even though it's on a hilltop, this might be more conducive to white-tailed clover up here, because it holds moisture right in this flat spot. Has for years. And I might go with that. But out there in the middle, it turned up beautiful. And that's probably a good area for Chaltine tubers, because it was so mellow with dirt. And so anyhow, that's it. Let's get it going.